Hello and welcome to Comic Book Wednesdays. Let's talk about comics. The first news I have for you today is that the brilliant Grant Morrison has released a new book. I don't know how big a deal this has been in the rest of the world, but for me, living in Scotland, it was a big deal. He came and signed at my local comic book shop, which could possibly be his local comic book shop as well, I don't know. But I managed to get a quick look at the book and it looks really interesting. It's called Supergods. It's sort of biography, sort of history, philosophy. It's just him talking about comics and it's pretty awesome. He takes the history of comic books from like the golden age to the present and just sort of dissects where the stories come from and what they actually mean to us and what they tell us about ourselves. He also kind of looks into the future and how comic books are going to affect pop culture in the future and society as a whole. I find it really interesting. If you're into that sort of philosophy side of things, or even if you're a fan of Grant Morrison, I suggest you pick it up. Debuting, I believe today actually, is a new series called Marksmen. It follows a group of Navy SEALs in a post-apocalyptic world where they try and defend the city of San Diego. I'm excited for it purely because I love comics that are set in like a post-apocalyptic world where society is just broken down. I think that setting just heightens the emotion and the interactions between the characters, and it just makes for awesome stories. So Marksman #1 is out today and it is priced at $1, so you have no excuse. The final piece of news I'm quite excited about is that a hardcover compendium of Turf is going to be released later this month. Turf is known as the graphic novel that Jonathan Ross did. Jonathan Ross was a big radio TV presenter and somehow Matt just decided, I'm gonna write a comic, and did. He was introduced to the artist Tommy Lee Edwards by Mark Millar. They were mutual friends and they hit it off and decided to write a comic book with vampires and stuff. The dialogue is what you'd expect from Jonathan Ross. It's funny and clever. It's just a great series, and a compendium edition is just going to make it more accessible to people, so I suggest you go and check it out if that's something you're interested in. Today I'm going to do a review of my newest comic book obsession, DMZ by Brian Wood and Riccardo Bocelli. It's set in the near future during the Second American Civil War. More specifically, it's set in Manhattan, which has become a demilitarized zone, which is where you get the name from, DMZ. The people living in the DMZ are caught between the Free States and the United States of America. The main character is Matty Roth, who is a photography intern with a news corporation. He ended up being sent to the DMZ with a reporter, and then their helicopter was shot down. He ended up trapped there, and he just continued to report with all the equipment that he had there. He gets to meet lots of different characters in the DMZ, and he finds out that the stuff that's being reported on isn't actually anywhere near what's actually happening. The whole storyline's really cool because you never know who Matty can actually trust. There's these two big political entities at war, and then there's everyone else who's caught in the middle of it and just trying to survive. The artwork's in a kind of modern graphic style that I've really become addicted to recently. The whole thing is gritty without actually looking dark. The storyline is the comic's strongest point. You want to keep reading to find out what's going to happen to Matty and what he's going to discover, and on a larger scale you want to know how the war is going to pan out. I would recommend DMZ to pretty much everyone, but with the one warning that it is for mature readers. It's an adult graphic novel, so obviously don't be giving it to your kids to read. Other than that, it's a fantastic addictive storyline, the artwork is fantastic, and I can't wait to finish this so that I can go back and read some more. And with that, that is the end of today's Comic Book Wednesdays. One final note before I go, I've been thinking about doing a guide to different characters and different comic book publishers or something like that. Maybe do like a guide to Spider-Man or a guide to the Green Lantern. I've just been wondering what other people would think about that, so tweet me or leave comments or whatever and let me know what you think about that, and if you have a request for one for me to do. Other than that, I hope you have a great day and I will see you next week.